lovely people. So it's runic Thor's day, although I'm recording this on Witch Wednesday. So we've got a lovely rainbow. How sweet is that? Thank you. I've got a really busy week and a really busy day today because I'm on my last mastery co-working day, and I have my last mastery wisdom working circle tonight, which is the work that I'm doing with Maggie Rose Cunningham. So for any of you that don't know, that I have learnt the runes with Maggie Rose Cunningham on her awakening course, and I'm now on mastery, which I'm about to finish, although I'm going to do another year of mastery. So today I was going to discuss the half months, and before I met Maggie, I learnt the half months from the Runic Book of Days by Kelly Harrell, and there's not really that much difference. I mean, Nigel Pennick did all the work on the half months and runic astrology, and that's what my teacher Maggie follows, and we do the half months of the year. In Kelly's book, there's slight differences. So it might say that we're going into Dagars, and it might be a day out or something. I still follow the half months that Kelly's got in her book, just because that's how I started. And the other thing that I do, so say the Thurazaz is July the 29th to August the 13th. And I switch, because with the runes, as you go in and out of the half months, when it changes, you can still feel the energy of the last rune. So you know, the one obviously before Thurazaz is Uruz, because they go in follow the runes. So the first date, the second date, and the third date. So July the 14th to July the 29th is Uruz, and then the 29th to the 13th. So on the July the 29th, we are finishing Uruz and we're starting with Thurazaz. So how I do it is I'm still got Uruz, but I'm about to transition into Thurazaz, because you can still feel the flow of Uruz as it goes into Thurazaz. So that's how I work. Some people, as soon as it hits July the 29th, they're just Thurazaz, and that's absolutely fine. But that's how I work. So if I put it in my diary, I will have like July the 29th Uruz / Thurazaz. So I've got those two runes together, and then the 30th of July I would be just Thurazaz. Although you can still actually feel the residue sometimes more from the previous rune. And also I feel sometimes that you can feel the next rune coming in as well. So you might be sort of, you know, the 28th of July, you might feel some Thurazaz energy, because there is like this shift over, and you can really feel it sometimes. Also, obviously, if you're working with a rune of the week as well, so you've got a rune going on there. I mean, the runes really do flow together, so you can, you know, I mean, yes, sometimes it feels a bit like, whoa, this energy is feeling a bit uncomfortable as I'm going from one to the other, or as I'm working with that rune and this rune. But to me, you know, it's, if I've chosen a rune for the week that really doesn't go with the half month, you know, it feels like a frictional sort of energy. That's the energy I'm meant to have. So that's absolutely fine. So I don't know if in this book there's like a, oh yeah, there is. So I'm going to read them out to you. So we start with Feu because that's the first rune, and that is June the 29th to July the 14th. Then we go July the 14th to July the 29th, Uruz. July the 29th, August the 13th, Thurizaz. August the 13th to August the 29th, Ansus. August the 29th to the 13th of September, Rado. September the 13th to September the 28th, Kinaz. September the 28th to October the 13th, Gibo. October the 13th to October the 28th, Wunyo. October the 28th to November the 13th, Hagalaz and Sawain. Oh, sorry, Hagalaz. I'll read the other bits after. Sorry about that. Got carried away. 13th of November to November the 28th, Northeast. November the 28th to December the 13th, Isa. December the 13th to December the 28th, Yera. December the 28th to January the 13th, Iwaz. January 13th to January the 28th, Perthrow. January 28th, February the 12th, Algies. February the 12th to February the 27th, Sawello. February the 27th to March 14th, Tiwaz. March 14th, March the 30th, Bacano. March the 30th to the April the 14th, Awaz. April the 14th to April the 29th, Manaz. April the 29th to May the 14th, Laguz. May the 14th, May 29th, Ingus. May the 29th, June the 14th, Athala. June the 14th to June the 29th, Dagaz. Now, where I said Samhain is because they follow the wheel of the year. So certain runes are in certain festivals, celebrations on the wheel. So the first one is the September the 13th to December the 28th. We have Kinaz and Mabon. So that rune covers that festival, which is really great to really connect deeper with that specific rune. And if you work with the Wheel of the Year, because you can bring it into your festivals, you can bring it into your celebrations, your rituals. So it's really, it has been quite a life changer for me. Sounds a bit dramatic, but it has, because I have been following the Wheel of the Year for a very long time, and I do it in my own way. Over the years, I found what I like. I don't necessarily follow, you know, a certain path because I'm very eclectic anyway. So I work in my own way. So on October the 28th to November the 13th, we have Hagalaz and Samhain. We then have December the 13th to December the 28th, we have Yera and Yule. And then we have Algies and Imbolc on January the 28th to February the 12th. And then our next one is March the 14th to March the 30th, where we have Bacano and Astara. And then we have Laguz with Beltane, which is April the 29th to May the 14th. And then we have Dagaz and Midsummer, summer solstice. Now, I loved all this, and I have been working with this, and like I said in another video, for me, the outer months are out there. Now, I call them outer months because they're out in the universe. It's a bit like where you work with numerology. So with numerology, you have you can do the numerology for the year, and then you'll get what the year is. Like this year is 2022, which becomes 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. That's a nurturing year in the universe. That's every single person on the planet is working with that energy, whether they know it or not, because we live in the universe, so it's out there. But an inner, or called in numerology, a personal numerology year, you work out with your dates. Now, mine is always a year behind the year. So last year we were in a year of change. My year was a foundational year. It was a number 4 year. So, you know, the universal was doing a 5 change, and I was a 4 foundational. This year, I'm in a year of change, and the year is a 6 for the universal. Now, this is the same for the runes. There's this outer, which is how we work out runic astrology, because we follow those runes around the wheel of the year. That gives us the dates. That gives us, you know, your personal year where you I got all confused. Hang on a minute. That sometimes happens. Right, so where was I? So the outer months are what's going on. So, and they give you your runic astrology. So they tell you what planets are in, what runes are with each planet and stuff like that. So the outer month runes I follow, half month runes I follow. They are there, they're sort of set in the universe. But as I worked more and more, I realized that I didn't quite understand why certain runes were at certain festivals. And I specifically had such a problem with Yera. Now, I know Yera is, you know, it's the only rune that is 2 pieces. Every other rune is 1 piece. Yera is this, and it is it means year, and it is that revolving year, you know, cycles, seasons, patterns, everything. Now, it's in the winter solstice, and I just didn't, it didn't go with me. I don't know why, but I just felt it didn't work. And I was sitting meditating on it, and Odin come in and he said, you can put the runes wherever you like. And I was like, pardon? And he was like, you can put the runes wherever you like for you. It's personal to you. It's your journey with the runes for you, and you can follow it however you want. And I was like, oh yeah, but the runes, you know, they're in these 8s. And he said, why? And I was like, well, because they are. He said, well, they don't have to be. Put them however you want. And I was like, but you know, Feu, Uruz follows Feu, Thurizaz follows Uruz, you know, and it was like, so? And he said, things changes change. So I sat and I did a lot of work and a lot of meditation and a lot of connecting. And I came up with my own wheel of the year. And I call it the inner half months, because they're my personal inner half months. I don't think they're going to change. So I don't think it's like doing it on a yearly basis where I connect in and I think, oh, that rune's going to go there for this year. I think it's pretty much set like the universal year. But that could change in the future. I don't know. And if you wanted to do your own work where you put those in, there's, you wouldn't be following my in a half months, you'd be following yours, and you'd be putting them exactly where you wanted to put them. So I've done that, and I love it. And I didn't know whether it was going to work, so it's been an experiment. It might needed tweaking, it might needed changing. So what I did is I started with the Wheel of the Year. I started with the 8 festivals, the 8 things, and I put what rune I connected with that festival into those spaces. So I used 8 runes to start me off. And the reason I put those runes in the places that I put is all the work that I've done on Awakening, where I've learned and connected with the runes, where I've got my own personal journeys with the runes. It was my personal gnosis. It was literally my personal journey. And so I placed them in those spaces, and then I worked from what rune would be going before them, and it wasn't the rune that was in like their 8. So I didn't do Feyu and then I'll have to have Urus. I have completely blown the 8s up completely. So they're all over the place. Hagalaz might follow Feyu, and they're literally all over the place. And they're personal, so I'm not going to actually go through mine unless anyone really would like to know them, and you can just put in the comments, I actually want to know yours, I want to know the reasons. And maybe that does need to be a follow-up video. Maybe I do need to give you my reasons, and maybe you could then maybe understand where I was coming from. But it's not personal that I want to keep secret. It's just that I don't want to cloud anyone else's thing, or but if you would like to know, I'm more than happy to read them out in another video, do another video for them. So I really recommend this book by Kelly. I really like Kelly. She was sort of the first person I connected with, and I love her podcast. I love, she's an animist, and I just love how she works with the runes, how she's been doing it for a long time. Obviously I personally work with Maggie, and it's all Maggie stuff that I'm working with, and but that book was one of the first books I got when I was sort of looking into, because I didn't know about the half months. I didn't know that I didn't know about Nigel Pennick. I didn't know his book that he wrote way back and stuff. So I hadn't actually really done that. But for me, like I say, it was a game changer, because I've always worked magic, I've always done rituals, I've always followed the Wheel of the Year. So to be able to put the runes with that meant that it just became that new part of my practice, because I didn't want to have my practice in like loads of different sections. I didn't want like that over there and that doesn't go with that, because that just would, it would have been really hard to do. Like, I've got to keep runes out of this, and like I've said in a couple of other videos, I work with Egyptian deities, and they just didn't seem to work with like runes. How do you put Egyptian deities with the northern tradition? But it has worked for me. It works because it's part of my practice that is now really seriously part of me. It's and yeah, I have, over the years, I've taken up things and I have discarded them, or I've grown out of something and I've moved on. I mean, crystals have always stayed with me. Reiki is massively part of what I do. I love Reiki. I mean, that's a Eastern thing. I like the chakras. I mean, I was taught in Reiki about chakras. Chakras and Reiki don't go together because they're two different, system things. But people do use chakras in Reiki because it's easy to understand, and both those Reiki and chakras are out there, and you can learn it and understand it easy enough. So it, I think what you do is you meld all of your stuff, you weave it all together, and yes, maybe some stuff gets lost along the wayside, maybe you release some stuff, and that brings me on to another sort of point that I wanted to bring into this bit was correspondences. Being a witch, I've used correspondences ever since I started to practice. I use the planets and days of the week and stuff like that. So, and I'm now loving the way I'm now weaving in my new understanding of the planets coming from the northern tradition from runic astrology. So now I've got another lovely layer coming in. But correspondences are quite personal in a lot of ways. I mean, people say, certain things about certain things. So let's say colours, red is this and it means this and it means that. Now, I agree to a degree that, and also if something has been out in the universe for a long time, then it has a energetic imprint and energy that you can pick up on. Because if people have been following a certain thing, it gets a life of its own. It has that energy. It's a bit like when we were discussing the crystals, and amethyst means this, but it might mean something else to someone else, and amethyst will be giving some different energy to different people because it's got a generic meaning that's out there, and amethyst has been used for that for centuries and centuries. But a certain piece of amethyst that you pick for yourself, or that amethyst picks you, you will be getting some sort of healing, some sort of connection, some sort of something from that very specific bit of amethyst, because they do have, I feel, specific personalities. So yes, they come from the mother energy of amethyst, which is broad, but then they all have specific little personalities and energies that connect with different people. And I think that's the same with correspondences. And I've always felt this about things like dream diary, but not dream diary, dream books that explain what your dreams mean. I've always found that really and utterly ridiculous. I'm sorry for any author that has written a dream book. I'm not trying to diss you, although I just have. But what I mean is, like, if as a child I fell off a chair, so maybe I stood on a chair to reach something and I fell off and I got quite injured, that will have caused my energetic body, my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body to see a chair as maybe dangerous. So if I dream of a chair, it might mean to me, oh, danger. Now, I might look in a dream dictionary. That's what I wanted, dictionary, not diary. I might look in a dream dictionary and it might say chair is for support, which makes sense because, you know, we sit on chairs. I'm sorry about my straps. They're really bugging me. Anyway, so for me, you've got to learn correspondences, and then in a way you have to unlearn and bring in your own stuff. So colours, you know, colours are really subjective. You know, blue means this, and I believe that, you know, like yellow is for creativity and you know, stuff, and I can go with the outer, let's say outer correspondences, but what about inner correspondences? What does yellow mean for me? So I think you learn correspondences that you want to use in your practice, and then you sort of unlearn them. So you've got that lovely energy where you know that yellow means this, but your personal gnosis of yellow, your personal energetic energy with yellow will bring a lovely extra flavor to it. So when you learn the rune correspondences, and you know, they've been put in place by people the same as me and you. So someone has said, well, we read in the Eddas, we, you know, in the poetic Eddas, in the sagas, that this, you know, rune connects with this, and so that energy. I think there's like some stuff about amber with Freya and Feyu. I can go with that. I can use amber with Feyu, but for me, Feyu is has got a very, I would like to use pyrite. I would like to use green stones. I would like to use bloodstone. So I've worked out my own like correspondences again, and some correspondences that are for the runes, I just can't go with. You know, fine if they were in the poetic Eddas, fine if it's like a line of history. I'm not dissing that because that's there, and we, let's face it, we don't have a massive amount of history, so we need to try and keep with some of it. But if it feels completely wrong to you, then I'm sorry, but I believe that you've got to go with your own personal gnosis, your own personal feeling. And that's how I work. And, you know, it might not work for you. You might want to totally follow, you know, what's out there. I can't blindly follow something if it really energetically just doesn't, if it feels so wrong. I just can't. And I think I would be being totally inauthentic and everything if I followed something blindly just because it's out there. I can't do that. I've never done it in my spiritual practice, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to follow my own way. Maybe I'm just pig-headed and stuff, and that's it, and stubborn as well. I don't know, but for me, it's read as much as you can, get all the information, go with it, but then feel into it. Then, you know, see if that feels right. Does amber feel right for you with Feyu? If it doesn't, you know, you're not doing anything wrong by going, no, amber for Feyu's wrong. It just doesn't feel right at all. I can't go with it. I mean, you're just not going to get the most out of your relationship with the runes either, because your energy is going to be going, no, no, no. And you're going to be going, oh, but I've got to believe it's that. I've got to go with that. So really what I'm trying to say is do your own thing, but with the as long as you've got the understanding. Don't just do your own thing when you haven't done the study and you haven't done the learning, because that again doesn't feel right to me. Oh, well, I'm just going to make up my own stuff and that's that. I think you need that basic foundation. Anything you learn, use your basic foundation, learn it, study it, really get to grips with it, and then you can tweak, and then you can turn it into your own way. I mean, I did it with Reiki. I took Reiki so serious, really, really, really serious. I learned from so many authors. I would read so many books. I had amazing teacher. Amazing two teachers. My first teacher, who I did 1 and 2 with, and then my teacher that I did masters with, just phenomenal. And she had fantastic teachers and things. So, it's to me that's important. And I put my foundation in there because if you don't have the proper foundation, then you could topple. Everything can go really wrong. I needed to know everything that was out there that I could, and then I could then flavor it with my own style, because we all have our own different style, and I've drummed with Reiki. I didn't learn anything about drumming with Reiki. I've chanted, I've used crystals. I mean, now, yeah, we've got, drumming Reiki, we've got crystal Reiki, we've got Celtic Reiki, we've got shamanic Reiki. There's loads of different people, because what they've done is they've learnt the foundations and then they flavored it with their own stuff, and I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as that foundation is brilliant and solid and you know exactly what you're doing. And I think is one thing my Reiki master always says is everything is fine and you can do whatever you want as long as you've got that foundation in, and you can take stuff to different levels and different places and use different things. But if you're teaching it, you don't add in that stuff. And to me, that's correct. You give the basic, foundational, proper stuff, that to me is correct. If I was teaching someone stuff, I wouldn't flavor it with all my stuff. I would say, oh, I'm now doing this though, and I'm really enjoying it, it's great, but I wouldn't flavor the teaching. The teaching should stay pure on things, especially things like Reiki, I think. But again, it's my personal opinion and my Reiki master's personal opinion. Other people might have a different opinion. They're entitled to it. They're entitled to be how authentic they feel, and they might feel authentic doing whatever they're doing. So there's that. So yeah, so I don't know if this has like helped you with, like, I don't know how many people follow the half months. I know that we do in like the half space and with Maggie's work, because that is a big part of what we're doing, and obviously runic astrology is a big part of Maggie's teaching and everything. So but it is a brilliant way of really learning the runes, because the half month is literally, you've got that lovely 2-week period and you can focus just on that one rune. And really, if you're learning, again, like the basic foundation, if you're learning the half months, stick with the half months. Don't try and add in your inner months. Do that later on. Do a good couple of years, maybe even. I mean, again, everyone's different, but for me, I needed that. I needed a good 2, might have even done 3 years actually, of the half months before, and then I did the awakening program to learn even deeper of the runes, individual runes. So I didn't add in my inner half months until I'd had a lot of training and you know, working with them and playing with them and experimenting. I didn't add them in until I was absolutely ready. Now, my foundation in the wheel of the year goes deep, because that's right back at the very beginning of my practice, you know, something like, I don't know, 25 or 30 years ago. So I mean, that's been in my practice. So that bit, I already had the foundation of that, and that's possibly why, because I had that foundation, so I could bring the runes in and do my own inner work with it. But you know, you don't have to do inner half months ever. It was just something that came to me. It was something that Odin obviously wanted me to work with, and I think I've said before, who's going to argue with Odin? I'm not. No. So yeah, but yeah, I love it, and this is, you know, again, the foundation of my altar for the week is where I'm doing the outer half month, the inner half month, my Ogham, and my rune for the week. That's the core, you know. It's those, and then I add my cards, and then I add the crystals. The crystals come last, always come last. And again, with the crystals, you know, I've been working with crystals definitely 30 odd years, 30 plus, maybe even. Yeah, definitely. So the crystals have got a lovely foundation, and you know, that's evolved. I have flavored my work with the crystals in my way, but that's been a very, very long ongoing process. You know, I've been working with them a long time. So yeah, so I hope this is informative. I hope you get something from it. It'd be nice if you want to you know, put anything in the comments, and you want to know anything more, if you want me to go a bit deeper, if you want me to show you my inner half months, really happy to do that. I'm really excited. I think I spoke last week of me runes coming for my birthday, although they're going to be here earlier. They'll either appear today or they're going to appear tomorrow. So yeah, my blacksmith Tom, he sent them off. So they're winging their way to me. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this year, because I'm going to go back through my awakening program with each rune for the half month. So I'm going to do a deep dive. So and obviously you'll be on this deep dive with me, because I'll be you know, doing a lot of runic Thor's Day stuff on what I'm doing with the runes as we go through the year. So I won't be talking about my inner runes. Maybe next year I'll do a deep dive into my inner runes. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, so today is my last day on mastery. So it's bittersweet. It's great to have finished the year. And my YouTube channel has been born through my mastery, which is fantastic. I'm really, really just, yeah, brilliant. I'm so pleased. I am carrying on. So after tonight, after our last wisdom working circle, this mastery will be ended, and then a new one will be starting up, which is exciting. But it you know, it is bittersweet, because it's the ending of this. I mean, yeah, I'm excited starting the new one. I'm on the awakening with the new cohorts for this year, and awakening this year I think is going to be absolutely amazing. So I think there's time to still sign up if you want to go on the awakening course. So that's Maggie Rose Cunningham, MagginRose.com website for awakening. I just, you know, I'm going to say it all the time, you know, I'm Maggie's #1 fan, I think. Well, you must know that by now. But I can't, honestly, life-changing. The awakening course for me was, you know, I've been working a long time and doing a lot of different things, but that just, yeah. I mean, it was a horrible year, wasn't it? 2020 for everyone, a horrific year. And yeah, I had one of the best years I've ever had in my life. So but yeah, so love and blessings to you all. We've got a lovely long 40-minute video now, so I do apologize. But yeah, I hope you get something from this. Sorry about me being a bit all over the place, but the heat is not good for me. Really, really affects me with my fibro and stuff. But yeah, anyway, love and blessings. I don't know whether there'll be any more videos going up this week. Probably not. I probably won't do an altar one because I'm still really working with the altar energies. I've put up one of how I set my altars out, how I do my altar for the week. But I won't be doing a review of it, I don't think. So love and blessings again, and take care everyone. Hope you have a fabulous weekend, and see you next week. Bye.